Yo, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Ben Mahari here, representing Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. All right, baby. We got the NBA Finals tomorrow between the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Indiana Pacers at Oklahoma City. And I'm going to give you guys my prediction on this series in just a moment. But I got to say that the Pacers making it to the finals would be a shocking understatement. I was kind of mildly surprised of how this Pacer team was able to get to the finals thus far, considering the fact where they started this postseason. After crushing down on the Milwaukee Bucks, the old and injured rattled Milwaukee Bucks specifically, you know what I mean? And then with the stunning performances against the best team in the Eastern Conference, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then basically stunning the New York Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. I actually been relatively impressed of how the Pacers have been able to play, especially with Tyrese Halliburton, who's been pretty much shutting down all the critics throughout these playoffs and playing at the absolute best basketball at the right time. And I'll be honest with you, people that keep saying that this guy is not a star player needs to go sit down somewhere. This guy has been the face of the franchise for several years, and now since he's back healthy at 100% after recovering from that, terrible hamstring injury from last year, now he is playing at a high level and playing outstanding. But don't discount what the Oklahoma City Thunder have done. They've had a tremendous year. They've been perhaps the best defensive team in NBA history. It could be up for debate. But the way that Shea's been playing, Caruso, Jayden Williams, Dor, and Chet Holmgren, these guys have been outstanding in these playoffs. And they've been battle tested, absolutely, by the Denver Nuggets, through that 7-game series. I think that did a lot more good for them because it showed their valor and it showed their mettle in these playoffs, because many people questioned the youth of this team and how they can handle that kind of expectations on them. And so far, they've been able to handle it. And the way they played against the Timberwolves in the conference finals, I'm telling you, the Pacers are going to have their hands full. I think one of the big factors is going to be in this series is going to be the defenses of both teams. We know Indiana likes to play fast pace, but so does OKC too. OKC is excellent in defensive transition and half-court defense and full-court defense. Same with the Pacers. But I think the Oklahoma City Thunder's defense is a lot more superior than the Pacers. But Indiana's no slouch when it comes to defense too. Look how they performed well against the New York Knicks. I think one of the big factors in this series is going to be the guard play. Nesmith and Nembhard of the Pacers, Dor and Jayden Williams. Those guys are going to be the big factor, including Alex Caruso too. Those guys are going to be major factors in this series. But I think the huge wild card in this whole thing is going to be the front line. We know what Miles Turner can do as a big man, and Pascal Siakam. But we also have to consider what Chet Holmgren and Hartenstein have been able to do in these playoffs. They perform well as well. But it's going to be a very interesting scenario. And we're going to have the premier matchup of the guards between the MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Tyrese Halliburton. But as I look into this series and the way that these games are going to be laid out, it's Oklahoma City's title for the taking. They have to win this to validate their terrific season that they had. So the way I look at this series, I predict that the Pacers will take at least 2 games in this series, but in the end, I think that the Oklahoma City Thunder will take the series in 6 games. I just think that their versatility, their defense, and their ability to score the ball is going to be so overwhelming for the Indiana Pacers. I just don't know how the Pacers defense could be able to counter with the kind of firepower that OKC has. I don't think they haven't seen that kind of firepower in a long time in terms of the opponents that they have faced against. So I think the Oklahoma City Thunder, this is their time. I think this is their time, and I do think that Shai is going to have an outstanding series once again. The only way that you're going to be able to slow him down is you've got to get physical with him. You got to get physical with him, and you got to stop biting on his face that gets him to the free throw line. You have to be disciplined in your defensive guidelines and your strategy when you go against a guy like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and those guards of OKC. I'd rather live with Dort and Jalen Williams and Caruso, Hartenstein, or Chet making the shots than Shea. That's what I'm living with. And vice versa when it comes to the Pacers too. It's going to be a very interesting series. But if I had to choose, like I said, I got the Oklahoma City Thunder winning the series in 6 games and winning their first NBA championship. That's just my opinion. I just think that the OKC Thunder is much more of a balanced basketball team. They're much more deeper, and they're going to overwhelm the Indiana Pacers. It's going to be competitive, but I think OKC's talent is going to overpower Indiana's. So I got OKC in 6 games. But that's just my opinion about the whole thing. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And with that, I'm out. Peace.